visit with him over the next 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you.
Mr. Lutzenkirchen, you've given several speeches here already, but what's it going to be like? How special is it going to speak here at Auburn?
It's always more special to come to Auburn just because of what it meant to Philip, what it did for Philip in his life, what Jay Jacobs all the way down to Jeremy, to Melissa, to the whole staff here, how they've treated us and supported us before Philip's accident, since Philip's accident. So it's real special.
What are the lessons that we can learn from Philip?
You know, my talk is titled Philip's Legacy, What Legacy Are You Leaving? And Philip had phenomenal character, unbelievable faith in God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, an uncanny ability just to give his time to others, whether it was saying hello, smiling, going to see terminally ill kids, whether individually or in groups. So it's that willingness to pay it forward, and that's a challenge I'm going to give the kids today. And it's the lessons of when you prepare for something and you don't prepare all the way through it, like he did that last day, and a combination of poor decisions added together. No matter how well he lived his life, it ended his life. So there's going to be a lot of strong messages about making right choices.
Why have you decided to do this, to go to universities and different high school campuses in order to kind of share his story? What's the importance behind that?
And I probably have a little bit of a different answer almost every time I ask that question. I'm asked it a lot. I should probably come up with a standard answer. I just don't know if my heart allows me to do that. It's who he was. The simplest explanation I've been using lately is, God created a hole for my family, and everybody's in that hole but Philip. And we're not a family that was used to being in a hole. We don't want to be in a hole. So the other option was to be out of the hole. And I know that's what Philip would want. So we've chosen to be out of the hole. And being a believer in Christ myself, I know that God has a will and a plan for me long term. I don't know what it is. I'm not privileged to know, but I know short term it's to be doing what we're doing, to carry forward everything wonderful that Philip did, and have people learn from the mistake he made. Because if kids can match Philip in the three first elements I shared, character, faith, and community service, and avoid what he did, the mistakes he made that last day, they're going to live a long, prosperous, loving life.
How tough is it to get up in front of crowds and speak about that kind of thing?
It's not tough to get in front of crowds. It's not a nervousness. Your emotions can get you. You don't know quite when, what might trigger it. Tonight, I'd like to think I'm prepared for this event. I know what my message needs to be and I want it to be. But there's going to be sights and sounds, faces that are going to trigger me to cry. That's okay. 51 years old, actually 52.
You're so old.
52 today. So the Lord works in mysterious ways. The fact that this event got pulled together on my birthday is probably an added sentiment to my heart. It's going to be special.
Depending on whether you're talking to high school students or college students, does that maybe ever change the content of the speech at all? Do you ever have to tailor it?
I do. That's a great question. My wife has said, I had a chance to speak at a church recently in Birmingham, and my daughter Abby was able to join me, and there were 3 separate sessions, and there was a teen session in the morning, about 80 teens and a few adults, and then there was one first grade through 6th grade basketball banquet in a gym, and then at night it was like senior citizens, and my wife Mary asked me, what are you going to talk about to the 1st through 6th graders? And I said, I'd probably just narrow that down to marijuana use. Jokingly. No, it's 1st to 6th grade was easy. It was talking about loving others. It was talking about being a good sport. It was talking about being a good teammate, respecting your parents. Philip was phenomenal with that. For high school kids, it's a very candid conversation about becoming a better person, but 22% of our juniors and seniors are drinking alcohol. 48%, 44% are not wearing seatbelts. So it's tailored to that. It's a little more aggressive in concept when I'm talking to a college football program or men's or women's basketball program. I haven't had the privilege to talk to a general college audience yet, student athlete or non-athlete combined. But it's going to be, I'm not going to hold any punches back about what I think really contributed to Philip's mistakes that last day, and I want them to avoid it.
Your son was greatly loved by this community, by this campus, and since June, a lot of memorials, a lot of mementos have been posted. When the new Oaks went in, it was 43 degrees. People took a picture of that and shared it on social media. Has that support from the Auburn family helped you through this tough time?
The fact that I'm in front of you today talking in Auburn tells you what Auburn's all about. This was no easy task to pull this together, and I just had to show up, and they asked me a few things, but the fact that Auburn is willing to go to this measure to have somebody talk to their kids about their lives, there's an Auburn creed, and I'm going to talk to that tonight a little bit, because I don't think a lot of the kids are living to that Auburn creed to the degree they could. When you talk about mind and body and soul, and strong mind, strong body, and doing obedient of law, there's a bar scene here that causes kids to make decisions to go too far, and that starts to go against the Auburn creed. And I think, I was just with the Student Advisory Council, if you were to ask all these kids at the beginning of the talk, are you a believer and do you follow the Auburn creed, I think you're going to see 100% of the hands go up, these college students. But as they start to think about some of the things they do, which we created this culture, this is what we do, all of them probably can't put their hand up any longer. And my challenge is to say, get to the point where you're more comfortable being able to put that hand back up because you're making some better decisions.
Anyone else?
With it being your birthday, and obviously it's an emotional event, how important was it for you to have your family here?
Extremely important. My family's my strength. My son's my strength, but I'm blessed to have an occupation that ironically I have to talk to high school coaches, college coaches, so it combines both the topics together. But my wife works back at home. She's got an off day, so she met me last night and traveled with me today all day. It's awesome to have her with me. The older girls are here for the first time to hear me talk. I'm blessed next week, Amy, who's a board member. She's traveling me to Portland, Maine, where we've got 6 or 7 events to talk at. In Portland, Maine in March, I'm not a real bright guy going up there this time of year. And then Abby, being over at the University of Alabama, has been able to join me on about 4 or 5 talks, and it's special to have that added strength there, flesh and blood with you. So it means a lot to have you.
Along with your family, how much has your faith helped you along just this past few months, this journey that you all been on?
That's a wonderful question. It's drawn me closer to God. I haven't asked a lot of heavy whys. All this took place, and I think that's because of God. Philip had such a phenomenal relationship and faith, and a lot of that is due to Chet Williams and the ministry here of FCA at Auburn that hit him at the right time as an 18-year-old male as he grew into a 23-year-old. I've always had a strong faith. I'm kind of raised that you don't outwardly show it unless somebody asks you about it. But this is a God thing, things that happen. The 43 comment temperature when the Oaks are being put in, that's a God wink. That's a kid who did a lot of wonderful things here at Auburn, and Auburn did a lot of wonderful things for him, just basically saying it's time to have these trees back. A lot of people that don't have faith, I think, probably think that's corny. That type of stuff just doesn't happen. When my wife and I are driving on 285 up in Atlanta in heavy traffic and almost get hit by a trailer tractor and able to glance over quick enough to see that he's coming in my lane, and we get straightened out and nothing happened, on the side of that trailer was trailer number 43. There's so many little things and signs of that 43. It's a unique number. I don't think there's a lot of guys in college that have made a name for himself wearing the number 43. I think there's some significance to that. So it's special.
How long did it take you to get comfortable to talk just about like you mentioned, the mistakes that Philip made that night, 'cause it just seems like so many parents in maybe similar circumstances would just say, we don't want to keep bringing this up and keep talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to get long-winded in some of these questions. I've always felt as a parent, my role isn't to be liked by my kids. It's to be loved and respected. Hopefully my kids won't share some of my goofy side that more than likely Philip picked up. But there's a serious side. And talking about Philip, and specifically that day I wasn't there, the details have been provided to me. I've had many opportunities to receive calls that suggest we have a legal case as to why his blood alcohol BAC was released. A legal case against the driver. And my view on that, my son was a 23-year-old man, mature beyond his age because of Auburn University and representing this brand, getting in front of the media and going to media days twice. Philip made the choice to do what he did that day, and Philip made the choice to get in that vehicle. So it was a grown man making that decision. I just don't want to see other kids make it. So that makes it gives me strength to have that conversation about those details.
Anything else? Thank you, guys. We'll start the program at 7. Thank you.
Thank you.